I feel like we need to give a disclaimer right here. If there's any law student listening, don't quote me in your lecture. Don't quote me to anyone. Like,
But quote me in your heart. Just know that we relate.
Oh, okay, now we're starting. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Tracy.
Hi, it's Nana.
And this is the Big Beginnings podcast where we get into the journey of starting uni and how that is and just starting basically a new life, you know, as a student, how that is. And we're going to unpack a lot of the issues we address and face as students.
And hopefully solve some of your dilemmas.
Ooh, spicy.
Because being a student is hard. It's hard work.
It is. It is.
Really is. So, a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Nana. I'm currently studying a postgraduate course called the Graduate Diploma in Law, which is basically what you do if you did, I guess, a non-law degree.
And I'm Tracy. I did a law degree at the University of Manchester. Now I'm doing a master's in corporate law at the London School of Economics. Yes, we love an educated queen.
We do.
And we're two queens.
So Tracy, when you first started university, what would you say was the most difficult thing? Or actually, you know, let's switch up. What was the most surprising thing that you were confronted with as a new student?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Immediately, I think about the freedom. I think it was the first time in my life that I was fully in charge of, like, my entire life. Like, it was up to me to feed myself. And this sounds silly, but it's true. Like, it was up to me to feed myself, to do the grocery shopping, to, you know, make my life work, basically. And it was tough because, I don't know how people take this, but I grew up, you know, with my family, and, you know, my mom was always there to take care of me, and my dad too, and I was grateful for that. But now I was, you know, put into this big wide world and told, you know, now this is on you. Take everything we've taught you and go out there and make it happen. So I would say that for me was the biggest shocker, basically.
It sounded almost like an empowerment speech. Like,
yeah.
God, that big happen.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, my entire teenage years, I was looking forward to it. I was like, I'm so ready. Like, I'm ready to go out there. I'm ready to get out of the house. And then when it was time, I was like, oh, damn. Like, now it's seriously, like, there's a lot of pressure here. But I think I've learned so much, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm now going to ask you, what was the biggest, most shocking thing that you experienced moving to uni?
Do you know what? My experience was, I guess, a little bit different because I went to a boarding school from the ages of 11 to 18. So I was quite used to, I guess, the more independent aspect of it. However, having said that, my older sister was at that boarding school, so I was always with family. And then when she left, I was on my own for a year, and then my younger sister joined. So again, I was with family. So I think the biggest like kind of shock to the system was being in a city actually on my own. Like, even though I was in boarding school, I had my family kind of around. When I got to uni, you know, it was just me, just a little old me. So it just felt different. And I had to acclimatize, adjust to that.
My question is, now that you've completed your degree and you're now doing your postgraduate degree, what is something that has surprised you, like, during the course of your degree that, you know, in the beginning you didn't quite expect to learn, but now you can definitely say, looking back, I've picked this very important lesson that initially I didn't expect to, you know, learn.
Across my undergrad?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it would be time management. Because I was doing a lot of different, like, societies, activities. I don't know, like, there was so many different things going on, and I think at the start of it I was just taking on more and more and more. Again, maybe a little bit overwhelmed at sometimes, and then towards the end I managed to be at the position where I could balance everything a lot better than when I began.
We love a proactive queen.
We do.
Like, I love that you were doing all these different things, you know, nailing it. Like, that's fantastic.
Nailing it is questionable, but, you know, we got there in the end.
I would say you nailed it. Like, if you guys...
You were there, Tracy, but thank you.
I'm just saying, I feel like you nailed it, and I'm gonna give you your crown.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you. I'll accept it.
And yes, what I learned, I guess comparatively it's not as serious, but mine was just to bet on myself. I guess I underestimated.
That's powerful, though.
Ooh,
That's powerful.
let's get into that. Like I really used to think there's no way. You know, I started off very confused. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, what do I even want to do once I graduate, and even just like what sort of grades I'm gonna get. Like it was just overwhelming to think about all these different things, and I underestimated myself. I wasn't convinced that this is something I can do. I mean the thoughts of even like, you know, maybe should I take a break from uni? Should I do all these different things? Like the mental breakdowns, like the amount of times I leave a lecture and I'm like, what just happened? Like I can't even tell you what just happened. And like it was a bit overwhelming, and I was like, Tracy, like, first of all, how did you get here? And then second of all, like, where are you going? And I think I just learned, like, looking back now and seeing, like, what I've achieved so far, I'm like, you know what? I've really learned to bet on myself and to trust myself. Like, sometimes you surprise yourself. Like, you don't know what's within you. This sounds cheesy, but it's true. Like, you don't know.
Straight facts.
Like, you don't know what's within you like until you're tested, until you're put in that high pressure situation. And I think I'm just grateful that I've learned that, and it's something I'll definitely carry forward, that, you know, you're capable. Even though you know the task ahead of you looks overwhelming, you're capable of doing it. Yeah.
Wow. Little round of applause. And actually,
For both of us.
I think that segues quite nicely into the topic that we wanted to kind of explore more with International Women's Day coming up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things that you said kind of touch on those themes that crop up in that area.
Yeah.
Especially with us both wanting to go into law. Now, I know we're pursuing slightly different aspects of law, but let's just speak generally for a moment. What would you say, like, is your perspective on pursuing this career as a lawyer, as a Black female lawyer?
I think for me, I see it as an opportunity to make a difference. I personally want to become a solicitor, and I recognize that diversity is something that is not, you know, it's growing within the profession, but it's not where it needs to be. And I would take this as an opportunity to be the best lawyer I could possibly be and empower other young Black females like me, who, you know, years ago were looking at like the websites of these law firms and wasn't seeing anyone that looked like them, to be that person that they look at and say, you know what, it's possible. So I take that as my challenge. I feel like that's my calling. I want to inspire. It's tough. I mean, you don't become an inspiration overnight. But I definitely want to use my platform for good and just inspire other people like me and show them it's possible. And don't feel like you're not good enough. Don't listen to what, you know, there are a lot of negative voices, especially being female and being Black. You know, you're gonna hear a couple of things that will dishearten you, but my message is just that, listen, they'll be there, but you can do it. And it just ties in with what I was talking about earlier, about betting on yourself. You are capable of doing it. Believe in yourself. There are people you see like ahead of you and they're doing it. So I'm just showing them, like, you know, it's possible. So definitely don't feel discouraged. Don't feel like you're at a disadvantage. You are more than capable of achieving it.
You made me want to. Do you remember? This is so random, but do you remember High School Musical? That song, like, Bet on It.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to break into, but I don't think you lot are ready for my vocals.
I
so
think you should unleash
I
your vocals.
I might give you a little taster later, but not right now.
I mean,
but when you were talking, something that you mentioned that sounded really like, that resonated with me at least, was the idea of going onto websites and seeing, like, so I want to be a barrister, and I don't know if it's slightly different for like solicitor firms, but for barristers, they're organised into things that we call chambers or sets, and you'd go onto the website of the chambers and you would click on barristers and they would come up with all these little boxes of their faces, and then like you click on it and you get their profile and yada yada yada. But what stood out to me was you just have rows of like almost passport pictures. Have you seen that before? And you'll just be scrolling, and you'll see nobody that looks like me, like nobody. They're all, majority of them are men, majority of them are white. Now we could talk about that another time. But given that it's, you know, we're thinking about what it means to be a woman in this field, like, do you have any reservations going, like, pursuing this career? Because that's one thing I think about a lot.
I immediately think that I have to, like, prove myself, which is sad to say, but I feel like if I was to walk into a meeting or whatever it is, I'd feel like there's a burden on me, sort of. I don't want to call it a burden, but there's just that feeling like you need to demonstrate.
Do something extra.
Exactly. You have to go above and beyond. I'd feel like you have to work twice as hard. Like, I don't know the reality, but this is just now me looking in and thinking, oof, you know, it's looking like...
And that's important though. Like, I think you touched on something really relevant there. It's not even necessarily this is what you must do, but it's the feeling.
Yeah.
Like the feeling psychologically of that obligation. Yeah. It's a lot.
It is.
It's really a lot.
It is.
But, you know, we're here to break biases. Yes. We're here to, you know, move into new spaces. Yeah. So it's also exciting, I guess.
It is exciting. I think, you know, it feels like you're almost chattering uncharted waters. It feels like, you know, you're gonna go out into sea and just hope for the best.
It's hard work, but then what in life isn't? If, like, you really want something, you need to work hard for it. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Sorry, not to contradict myself, but at university I've also learned work smart, not hard.
Yes.
So you see those little, like, online guides and they summarize all the cases. Yeah. You don't need to spend hours reading the judge. Don't listen. This is not good advice. But sometimes work smart, not hard.
I feel like we need to give a disclaimer right here. If there's any law student listening, do not take our advice as if it's the law. You know, like, don't quote me in your lecture. Don't quote me to anyone. Like,
quote me in your heart. Just know that we relate. We feel your pain.
We do.
But don't put that in your exam.
So, Nana, you did your undergraduate at Oxford and you moved to London to now do your postgrad degree. How was that for you?
What, in terms... I guess it was fun. I don't know, like... I guess Oxford was great, like... You know, there's like 150 libraries plus, and there's so many, and you have access to all of them. And then there was all the social aspects. Like, I went to St. Hugh's, and we all lived on site from first year to fourth year. So it was like a really nice, bubbly environment. Really, you saw your friends every day. You mixed in with all the different year groups. It was great. Now, London, everyone seems to be more insular, if that is even... Does that even make sense?
It does.
Like, everyone seems to, like, keep themselves to themselves, except where we're living, which is a nice part. Like, we obviously met in this building, and the activities, the things that go on here has meant that there's still that there's still an element of socialization. I'm not sure if these are words, Tracy.
No, you know what? I understand you. Like, I'm with you.
Let me say, there's still an element of socializing. There we go. Socializing. So I don't know. I like London as well.
Did you feel like it was easy to adjust? And even the fact that you've moved from a university that, you know, does colleges and is very focused on that to now where... you know, it's just one big cohort. Like, you're not divided into colleges and all that. Like, how has it been for you adjusting?
I feel like I'm a grown-up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I leave my house, I go to work, quote-unquote, lectures. Like, I go to campus. I like having a separate place, like a home and then a uni. So I quite like this, like, little commute, you know, you can listen to a podcast or music. And... it's been great to meet a range of people that I have really enjoyed about London. There's so many different people I've met from all backgrounds and all cultures, and it's lovely. But I guess if I flipped it and asked you the same, what would you say?
Well, firstly, I moved from Kenya to Manchester to do my undergrad. Wow. That was a big old leap. Like, I didn't even expect it to be as big as it was. You know, you sometimes think, well, first of all, for anyone who doesn't know, in Kenya, we speak English. We are, like, a lot of people have asked me this, which is crazy. Really? But yeah, like, so it wasn't hard to adjust moving to the UK in certain aspects because, you know, there's no language barrier. I could easily understand. And I also, a lot of like pop culture that happens here in the UK also happens in Kenya. So, and you know, the internet. So that, in that element, it wasn't hard. But I think where I had to adjust was the day-to-day living. In Kenya, it was very much community-based. Like I'm very close with my family, and not just my immediate family, my extended family. So there's just one big community. Everyone's happy to help everyone. Everyone's visiting everyone. And I moved to the UK, and it was just me. So that was a big
That's beautiful. They're like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you. There was no one who I could really talk to in my family to like give me advice on that. Like my family did the absolute best they could, but of course no one knows what I'm going to experience. They've never lived in Manchester, lived in the UK, so it was very tough in that aspect. I had to figure out everything. Literally everything. I had to learn everything anew. I had to completely scrap everything I knew about living life, quote unquote, but like just the lifestyle, and now adjust to, you know, my life in the UK. And thankfully I met a lot of lovely people. I really am grateful for the opportunity, and each new year I try to learn something new and change things up from the previous year that I saw were not working well. So
that's very smart.
Thank you. But like, for example, budgeting, that was a big thing.
Oh, don't talk to me about budgets, please. Do not talk to me about budgets.
It's a touchy topic for students.
Oh,
like,
Lord.
I don't want to talk about it as well because I'm feeling like, ooh. But yeah, like, it is a big old learning curve. Like, it was something that I had to unlearn a lot of my, you know, ideas of how to spend money and what money. Like, I just, you know, now you're a student. You can't, unless you're an exception, you can't be living large. Like, you have to actually stick to a budget.
Yeah.
You have to plan your meals. You have to ensure every single thing that needs to be paid for is paid for and paid for on time.
Yeah.
So, like, that was a big one. And I think, yeah, like, first year was an absolute mess. I'm just going to say it. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. It was a mess.
Candid. I love it. It's true. I can relate.
Yeah, I picked my lessons, learned a lot of hard lessons. They're not cute lessons.
They're not cute, but
no,
I don't even think I've fully learned because... anyway, continue. Let's leave that. Continue.
It's a work in progress for me too. Like, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, I'm perfect now. But, like, you know, I've definitely picked up a lot. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting for me. And I think at the end of my degree, I was good with money. I was good.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because now I'm gonna go into London. Like, what happens in London?
Okay.
Yes. So London. London's a different animal. Like,
Animal.
So, I will use the word animal. Because woo.
Wow.
So here I was thinking, I've figured it out.
Sorted. Done.
I'm well versed with this. Like, I know my stuff. But, like, when I came here, first of all, the cost of living, as everyone knows, is much higher in London. So adjusting to that, something I'm also still learning now. Like, this is just going to be candid. I'm not bad. I'm not terrible. But, you know, you still are recognizing areas you can adjust and, like, trying to, like, minimize spending on certain things. Because, for example, eating out in London... take that sip of water because... I can't, like, it's just, this is why I use the word animal, because it can't, like,
do you know what it is? You don't see it happening until it's happened.
Yeah, until she places, like,
account.
the waiter places the bill down, and it's like...
For me, that's not even a stage I clock. I go, tap, tap. One guy in a restaurant, one of the waiters said, you didn't even look at the number in the contact list. I could have put 250. You just tapped.
You just tapped.
And I said, brother, if you put 250, it would have been declined. So that would have been one way of telling, because that money is not in my account. But no, for me, it's I just tap. And then when I build up the courage, I log on to the app and I look and I scream, usually, quite loud. And then I repeat. So I'm still working on it.
Oh my days. Like, I'm now the type to panic at the point of purchase. That's now when I'm like, especially when I see the service charge and, like, I'm like, oh, you start sweating. Like, and then the awkward moment when you're with your friends and everyone's like, should we split it? Should we pay for what we got? You know those little awkward encounters, and it's like someone pulls out their calculator and they're quietly
it's the calculator that always kills me, because I feel like that's when you go out to eat, you can differentiate between students and real adults.
Oh yeah,
real adults are not now doing 80% of £15 on their calculator. They're just
so true.
paying it and going about their way. But you see us all waving our student cards. A student discount. You bring up student beans. You know, what's the other one? Uni days. I've got them all downloaded. I can't lie. I even used two of them today.
Me too.
It's a must.
It's a must. As a student, I will shame. I don't have any shame.
I have no problem. No problem.
No problem at all.
Or freebies. I was telling like one of the managers here how much I love freebies.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
In fact, Vita like to give out a lot of freebies. I enjoy that.
They do. I think once a company, like, if a company really wants to speak to students, like, get their attention.
Give me free stuff.
Especially free food.
We sound really bad.
But, like, it's true. It's true.
We actually sound mad. Okay, yeah.
I won't lie to you. If someone's like, do you want this, like, box of food? Like, of course. Like,
of course. Is that a question, though, really?
Like, drop it. Do you have another one you want to give me as well? Like, I will take it. It's just,
it's so bad.
It's one of those things. I don't like checking my statements. Like, when Barclays is like, oh, should I mention the... I don't want to be a victim of fraud. But, like, yeah, like, when I get that notification that your statement's ready, I don't bother.
Oh, what's that? Statement?
Yeah, I get an email. That's like, oh, here's your monthly
That email
spending.
is archived straight away. Immediately.
It's such bad vibes.
It's bad vibes.
Bad mood.
It's just like, I don't need to see all the subtractions and I don't need to see that
all
until
the
I'm ready.
minuses. Like, it's not cute. It's not fun. You ruined my day and I'm not happy. Like, it's just not, it's not it. Like,
it's not it. Bad vibes. Seriously, bad vibes.
It is.
Okay, so now is a part of the podcast where we're actually going to be looking at some of the dilemmas that students sent in to us. We have not seen them, so I'm kind of scared, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. All right, so this is our first dilemma. Get ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so the subject is, how do I talk to my parents about moving far away from home for university? So, my dad really doesn't want me, 19 female, to move away from home to go to uni. It's a great opportunity for me, an amazing uni in a city I like, and overall, I think it would make me really happy.
Okay.
I don't really want to stay in my hometown, but my family are the only ones that are keeping me here.
Oh.
I live in a small suburban town, and they're worried about my safety if I move to a big city. How do I approach my parents, especially my dad, to convince them to let me go to the university I want to go to? Any advice would be appreciated. Yes.
That's interesting. I think first things first, do not mention freshers. Just say that doesn't exist. What's freshers? No idea.
Yeah, don't know.
Skip that part out. I personally would like research and have a look at what is going on in that city, so that when you come and approach your parents, you're showing them that you're already invested. Like, oh, I saw they have this and they've got this museum and or I don't know, like this cafe, maybe not cafe, but something substantial. Personally, I would take it on that route to show that you've taken personal time to look into it and you're that invested in it. But yeah, forget freshers. Don't mention moving mad. Don't mention any of that, please, because otherwise you're not going. Sorry.
But like, if you take the time to research, come knowing your stuff, have a candid conversation with your parents and your family. Let them know that this is something you really want to pursue. This is something that, your heart is set out on. And explain to them the opportunities, even beyond uni. Like, this is a big city, you can get a good career, you can get a lot going on for you. So show them that it's not just about, the short term. I'm sure they're worried about, like, is she able to take care of herself? Is she gonna be safe? Like, I think it's a risk we all take. But if you take, like, make sure you put all the effort to, like, protect yourself, know what is expected, and just put yourself in a mental headspace where you feel like, it's gonna be tough, but you're prepared. You've done your best to prepare. And if your family sees that, they see the commitment, they see that you've done done what you need to do to ensure you have the best opportunity to thrive, then I think they'll be more willing to it. I understand it can be hard, and like for me personally, I had to explain to my family that I want to move to a whole new country. And then it was like, okay, like my family was supportive, but they were also very concerned. They were like, what to expect? Like, what's gonna go on? Like,
yeah.
But I think for me, what worked best is just being honest and having those conversations, and also give them reason to be excited. I think when you show them all the great things that's gonna go on for you, it's typical that a family will also like get excited for you, and they're like, yeah, this is a great opportunity for our child.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I would add to that is also maybe identify the areas of concern for your parents. So find out what it is that they're actually concerned about, like, narrow it down, and then begin to exemplify in your current behavior how you're addressing that. So if they're like worried, that you're not going to be able to cook for yourself or something like that, or you're going to be so far away from home, you can't cook, you can't maintain a clean environment, start doing that at home. Show them that you can cook, you go out, buy groceries, what do you want, starters, desserts, you make it all, prepare it nicely. Show them that you're capable of doing the things that they're worried about, because if they see it in front of them, they'll be more inclined to have faith that it's happening when you're not with them. So I feel like that's definitely, I don't know, one thing I would consider doing.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, irrespective of the outcome, if you do your absolute best to, do everything we've literally just mentioned and present your case to your parents, present your case because we're lawyers, it just comes to my mind, but like present your case and
your submission.
Yeah, and let them see that, this is something I'm serious about, this is something I'm prepared for, irrespective of what happens, I think you have that peace knowing that you did your absolute best.
Yeah, agreed. So, okay, the dilemma that I have before me. Okay, my uni housemate walks like an elephant. That is the subject. Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I live in an extreme. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. So let's get into it. I live in an extremely small flat with my housemate. Everything is smooth sailing. We are really getting on, except that she literally walks like an elephant. That's got 3 exclamation marks after it. That was sent with passion. Wow.
Ooh.
She has extremely loud footsteps and is stomping around. Sorry. She's stomping around in the middle of the night, apparently, because she goes to bed really late. I have had to get up early as I have morning lectures, and she always wakes me up. I've never encountered someone with such heavy feet, and I have no idea how no one has ever told her this before. It kinda sounds like feet dragging along the floor, and then this loud skin slapping sound. That's the best I can describe it. I've had to live with her for another 3... No, I have to live with her for another 3 months, and I can't deal with this lack of sleep. I've already tried to hint to her once, but how do I tell her to shut up without sounding rude? Help, please.
Okay, so...
Do you know what got me? The loud skin slapping sound. The sibilance, the alliteration there. This person is writing from a place of deep pain. Must be the case.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There's just so much to process there. But
wow, okay.
I'm thinking, if you already tried to approach the person, was it clear? I think that's the first thing that I'm asking myself. Like, was it clear, like, what your issue is? Because sometimes I feel like when it's time to confront someone, well, I'm not saying confront her, but like when it's time to approach someone and let them know that there's something they're doing that's annoying you, a lot of times when it's in that moment you just panic and you don't really like touch on.
Well, because it's in the middle of the night, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she would presumably be in her room whilst the girl is I don't know, walking around
doing her thing, like.
So this is I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
And as a former English student, the literary, like a lot of the things in this paragraph are very interesting. But yeah, so bearing in mind it's in the middle of the night. So do you think that, are you saying that she should come and confront her there and then?
No.
You're not? Okay.
No, that's not what. Well, let's think about that. Like, maybe it's just a case of you, like, getting out of your room, going to her and, like, hi, I've been trying to sleep, and I'm even thinking how I'd say this. Like,
because some people would, like, take that as, you know, what's the word, Aggie? Like, passive aggressive.
And you don't want to body shame. You don't want to, like, make the person feel like you're attacking them. Because that wouldn't go far. Like, I feel like the moment she feels
straight
like
beef
you're
after
attacking her, you're not going to go for it. In fact, I think she'll be doing it on purpose. Like, she's going to be louder, stomp harder. Like, it's not going to be cute. So, like, definitely gauge her personality is what I'd say. See what type of person she is. And it could be easily resolved with a candid conversation. Like, listen, I try to go to sleep. I literally, every time you walk outside at night, I hear you. I hear all your steps, and maybe leave out the skin bit, but like
I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I hear it, and I would just appreciate. I would appreciate if you would. How do you even say this?
To be honest, I feel like you have to firm it.
Yeah.
Because how else? You have to continue to live with her. Okay. If it's genuinely interrupting your sleep, because let me reread this. She said, it kind of sounds like, okay, skip that part. And then she says, okay, so she has trouble sleeping, but she didn't say it wakes her up. Or did I skip? Did she say it wakes her up?
I don't recall anything like that. Because
if it's just that it's so annoying when you're trying to sleep, you could. I don't think it's worth bringing up. I think at this point, at this juncture, it's going to do more harm than good. It might be good to just invest in some noise cancelling headphones, you know, some little scenic sounds at night. But if it is waking you up, then I do think you need to, like, if you are sleeping and she has aroused you from your sleep, you need to address that. But best be aware after that straight beef, because that's something that's kind of out of her control. Or maybe she could try, but if you said it's everywhere she goes, not even just up the stairs, but everywhere, maybe that's actually just how she walks. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, because you can't teach her how to walk. Like, what sort of advice do you give her? Like, you need to... Like,
you need to step like this, and like, maybe don't step that. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because that might just be down to her and who she is as a person. So I think what you said is very good. Like, if you can invest in something to make your, like, sleep better, do it. If you have to say something, I'd advocate for you doing it in a way that get your point across, but do it in a way that it's respectful. All I'd say is, like, don't body shame. That's not cute.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's just not it. But, like,
but then it might not even be that it might just be that she steps with a lot of vim. It might have nothing to do with the body. Stop. It might be.
It's true. I think at this point we'd need to see her walk so we can, like, give a judgment.
This is a very interesting,
because
long day.
It's a tough one.
Get the headphones.
I think we've definitely got.
Get the headphones.
Yeah, no. Get something. You get something that will help you. She should get slippers. And see how that will go. Hopefully,
call it a day. And if not, 3 months. You confirm that, and then don't live with her again.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our third one. The subject is feeling lonely even though I'm in my second year. It's my second term of my second year, living on campus in a shared flat. Despite having all these people around me, I feel a huge hole of loneliness. Aww. As much as I try to ignore it. I have a fair amount of acquaintances, but no one I'm really close with. They all seem to have their own friendship groups that I'm not a part of. I have yet to find my people who I can be my true self around. I find myself comparing my experience to others, like my sister who went to university and has loads of funny stories to tell with her friends that she met. I worry that I'll go the entire 4 years without making friends while everyone else is making these lifelong relationships. What can I do? Will this feeling last forever? I'm a relatively social and outgoing person, so I don't understand why I feel so isolated. Oh, that's not easy. And I feel like I can relate with this person because when I first came, I think I was experiencing culture shock and it was hard to relate with my housemates. I had 7 housemates. They were lovely people, but it was hard to relate with them. So I also had the same question. Is this going to be my entire 3 years? And for her, it's even 4 years. So, like, you can imagine it's looking very daunting.
Yeah, she's the second term of her second year as well.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
I'd definitely say, like, you're not alone. I feel like it's something I also heard a lot being said by other students. They experience loneliness. They feel like, I don't know who I'm, like, why don't I have as many friends? Because a lot of times when you see these movies and how people portray university, it looks like it's just gonna be a whirlwind and like a movie. Like you're literally living.
It's not
a movie.
real.
Yeah,
it's
not real. It's not. And I think making friends and good friends takes time. So be patient with yourself. Don't look at your life and think, oh, everything's gone to shambles. I'm gonna be here. Like,
Yeah.
no. I definitely think there's still time. You can maybe I would first of all recommend joining societies that have an interest have a shared interest with you. For example, you could like baking or dancing. Join those societies. Go for the events, see who's around, and try to connect with them. And I feel like it's even easier to make friends with them because they have a shared interest. You have a shared interest with them. So that could be a good conversation starter. Like, if, for example, if you went for dancing, it's like, do you dance a lot? What sort of dancing do you like? Like, just start a conversation. And often it leads to friendships. And I feel like that worked with me, finding people that have similar interests.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I think first of all, I would say, I said earlier, you're in the second term of the second year, that it's been a while. It's not been a while. I feel like I retract that statement because university, it goes quickly.
Yeah.
So it feels like, you've been in the same spot for ages. But if you think about it, when you get to the end of university, it's not like your time with any friend you make is over. You have the rest of your lives, potentially. So even if you find it takes you to your third year to find people that you really click with, that doesn't mean anything because that means from your third year going into real life, into adulthood, into jobs, you have those people. So I try not to look at it in terms of like, I guess, a race. The other thing that you mentioned was you said that she compares herself to others and her sister.
Yeah.
In relation to, maybe your sister is different because she can give you like insight information. But in relation to comparing yourself to others, you actually just don't know what is going on in their circles.
Yeah.
And therefore, I would advise that you stop doing that. And you also mentioned that she has, a fair amount of acquaintances. I think that's fine. I don't think you have to have like a trillion best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's unrealistic, first of all.
Yeah.
So even if, like through going to societies like Tracy said, or just putting yourself out there a bit more, or trying new activities, you meet one or two other people. Don't look at that as, okay, now I only have 2 close friends and everyone's got like 7.
Yeah.
Don't do that because there's so much like to be, I don't know, gleaned from that friendship with those two people that really understand you, two people that you really gel with, that you share common and core values with. So I feel like that's the other thing I would say. And take your time, find your people, but don't worry about it. Don't make it like a race. Don't make it like something that you must do before a deadline because...
Yeah, there's no deadline. Like, it's like Nana said, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that says, comparison is the thief of joy.
That's true.
Don't look at other people and think, you know what, everyone's having a much better life than me. What's wrong with me? You've already mentioned how you're outgoing and, it's not hard for you to have a conversation. I think it's just putting yourself in the right places. So we mentioned societies, even in your uni halls. I made friends like just by, we're waiting to join a class and you start talking with someone and then it turns out to be a really good friend. So and also hear from people who've been there. Like, I started off feeling like that, but by the time I was graduating, I had like a good group of friends that I'm still friends with now, even after
that's
I've
my
graduated.
point, because you don't stop being friends post-graduation.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it takes you till the third year to find that one person that you really click with. Potentially that's a friend for life.
Yeah, it's not a race. Take your time. Get high quality friends. Definitely quality over quantity. And from people that have been there, it gets better. It really does. I ask myself literally the same questions, and right now I'm so happy and content with my friend group, you know. And like Nana said, like some of them I met in my third year. Some of my closest friends actually I met when I was about to graduate. So you just don't know. Like, you know, life is not a straight line. Making friends is not something that just happens overnight. Even as some friends you make in first year, second year you stop talking. Like, that's just part of the journey. Like, but you will find your people. And I'd say, as someone, you've mentioned how you're outgoing. I believe you can do it. I think it's just put yourself in the right
bet
spaces.
on yourself, as we said at the start.
Bet on yourself
of the podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, go you. We believe in you.
Woo. That's the end of our dilemmas section. We just want to let you know that if you have any dilemmas you want us to cover, definitely go to Instagram and check out at Vita Student. We're gonna have polls posted where you can put, you know, your dilemmas, and they'll be anonymous, and we can help you. So definitely feel like this is a safe space where you can bring your issues, and we're gonna address them in a confidential, encouraging, and respectful manner.
Of course. What else? Nothing less. But yeah, honestly, guys, thanks for listening. It's been so nice to host this podcast.
Yes.
With Tracy.
I'm gonna keep wooing.
Yeah, I mean energy. Yeah, I mean I've enjoyed it. How have you found it?
I've enjoyed it, and definitely keep your ears out for the next release. We're gonna be covering more of these student issues, from mental health to even just like adjusting. We feel like this podcast is somewhere where we can come together as students, put our heads together, discuss these issues, and really just, you know, encourage each other, because uni is not easy.
And there'll be like, we'll do fun things as well. Yeah, it's not all gonna be serious. But I like that we're going to be discussing some serious topics, but also some fun ones. And if you guys have any suggestions or things that you really want us to cover, do make sure to send them in to our social medias at Vita Student. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for listening.
Until next time, take care of yourselves. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yes.
In this panorama.
In this panini press. Like, stay safe.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.